Asya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bhutairmahadviryaima puro vibhu nirmaya shete yadamushu purusha unte gunan shodashatmaka solam krisishta bhagavan vachamsi me. Shri Krishna Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Sadata Pivatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam. Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus and Matajis. Happy Nrsimha Chaturdashi to all of you. And we hope that we can take inspiration from Srimad Bhagavatam and the prayers that Srila Prahlad Maharaj is offering to Lord Nrsimhadeva in this 5th canto, 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So yesterday we were looking at text number 13 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's continue with that. So in text number 13, Prahlad Maharaj says, just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of Supreme Lord. This is our natural position, to remain in the vast existence of Krishna. However, therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities.
कल आपने वो मटर पूरी कर दी थी क्या?
Yeah, Matar Puri will be very nice today, Mataji.
No, Prabhu. Sorry, I didn't realize.
That's all right. We all have to do our material duties as well. Okay, so we have to read the purport of this verse. Would anyone like to read the purport?
This one here.
Yes, go
Mataji.
ahead. Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
Although crocodiles are very fierce animals, they are powerless when they venture out of the water onto land. When they are out of the water, they cannot exhibit their original power. Similarly, the all-pervading super soul, Paramatma, is the source of all living entities, and all living entities are part and parcel of him. When the living entity remains in contact with the all-pervading Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, he manifests his spiritual power exactly as the crocodile exhibits its strength in the water. In other words, the greatness of the living entity can be perceived when he is in the spiritual world, engaged in spiritual activities. Many householders, although well educated in the knowledge of the Vedas, become attached to the family life. They are compared herein to crocodiles out of water, for they are devoid of all spiritual strength. Their greatness is like that of a young husband and wife who, though uneducated, praise one another and become attracted to their own temporary beauty. This kind of greatness is appreciated only by low-class men with no qualification.
Thank you, Mother.
Everyone,
We'll just discuss on these points. So the dangers of the household life is stated in this paper very greatly. Although a house of life, has certain what we may call as license to limited sense gratification. However, the risk is great that in name of that license, one forgets the aim of life. That is the great danger. When Prahlad Maharaj was sitting on the lap of his father Hiranyakashipu, the second time around, when he asked the question as to what is the best thing you have learned, and Prahlad Maharaj answers, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnum Smaranam Padasevanam Dasyam Archanam Vandanam Atmanivedanam, Sakhyam Atmanivedanam, that the 9 process of devotional service, starting with hearing, chanting, and remembering the Lord, and so forth, is the most important lesson that I have learned. And all these 9 processes through which we can offer ourselves to Lord Vishnu, this is the best. And his father becomes so angry, and he just throws him down from his lap. And then he asks Prahlad Maharaj, that where have you learned this from? Of course, first he rebukes the teachers, Shanda and Amarka. And then he asks Prahlad Maharaj directly, you fool, you rascal, you think you know better than me? Where have you learned this from? Now, instead of answering that question directly, what does Prahlad Maharaj say? Wonderful verse, which is very dear to Srila Prabhupada from Srimad Bhagavatam, and he quotes many times. He says, Matirna Krishne Parato Svato Vam Mitho Vipatye Chagrahavratanam Adantagobhir Visatam Tamisram Puna Punas Charvita Charvanan. He says, Matirna Krishna, those whose matir, intelligence or disposition is not towards devotional service to Krishna. And when parataha means others tell, worship Krishna, but still they don't listen. Svatova, they may themselves try to worship Krishna. Or va mitho. Mitho means by the combination of others telling and we ourselves trying. Avipatyeta grahavratanam. But if the person is grahavratanam, is entangled in the household life, then half the battle, more than half the battle is already lost. Why is that so? Because adanta gopir. Adanta means uncontrollable. Uncontrollable what? Gopir senses. This is the main problem Prahlad Maharaj points out with Grahastha Ashram, that in the name of license, we engage in sense gratification. But sense gratification is like trying to satisfy the itch. We may have a soul. And if we itch the soul, guess what? We don't get satisfaction. We want to itch more and more and more. So Prahlad Maharaj says, Yanmay tunadi grahmay sukhamay tucham kanduya karayoriva dukkam. That this household life centered around sex life, maithun adi grahamedi sukham hitucham. This happiness is tucham, insignificant. It's like an itch. Kanduya karayoriva dukkam. And if we keep on trying to satisfy the itch, guess what happens? We will make the sore infected. And in that infection, the result is uncontrollable itch. And this is called Adanta Gobhir. Our senses are not under our control. This is the danger. And because of that uncontrollable senses, Vishatam Tamisram, we enter into the hellish condition and ultimately into the hellish planets. And it is not that we have not done this each again and again. No, we have done the same thing, eating, sleeping, mating, defending again and again. Prahlad Maharaj says, Punah, Punah Sachara Vitachara Vananam, we have chewed the chewed. Imagine, if we eat something and then we spit it out, and in the plate we see it, and then we pick it up with our own hands and put it back in our mouth. Similarly, we have done this activity of sense gratification again and again and again. Punah, punah, charvita charvananam, but there is no end to it. Because of this, adanta gopir, unrestricted sense gratification. And Prahlad Maharaj then goes on to say, Nate vidu swarthagatim hi Vishnu durashayaye bahirarthamaninas. Such a person whose senses are not under control, like Hiranyakashipu, he had gained victory over the three worlds, even victory over Indra and the heavenly planets. It said Hiranyakashipu moved his eyebrows and all the demigods would shiver in fear. However, Hiranyakashipu could not control his senses. And Hiranyakashipu could not know Nate Viduhu. What? Swartha. Swartha means benefit. What is the actual benefit? Swartha Gatim Hi Vishnu, Prahlad Maharaj says that one's actual benefit is in Vishnu, in Krishna. However, what do persons with uncontrollable senses do? Durashaya. Durashaya means that their asha is on false hope. Durashaya, on false people, false hope. Ye bahir artha manina. Bahir artha means they are looking for pleasure outside, externally, and they regard that as all in all. But no matter how much a person indulges in sense gratification, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Shishupal, Kamsa, all these great personalities, they were kings, ruled over the planets, they ruled over the earth. And yet, despite that, they could not control their senses, and therefore they were never satisfied. So Prahlad Maharaj goes on to say, Andha yathandhai rupniyamaninas tepi shatanyam murdam nibaddha. Andha yathandhai. So people who are addicted to sense gratification, similarly, they find a idol or a figure, a hero figure, a hero status, a similar person who is doing the same thing. But that person is blind, and the person addicted to sense gratification is blind. So the leaders themselves, not able to control their senses, are blind, and they're leading the followers who are also blind. So blind leading the blind will end up in ditch. What does that mean? Te pisha tantram urdam nibaddha. So they are bound. They are bound by the harsh shackles. Te pisha tantram urudamni. Damni, we know damna means rope. They are bound by the rope of attachment, which will drag them to the hellish planets. This is the problem. If Grahastha ashram is not used in the proper way, as it says ashram, ashram means to take ashray of Krishna. If that does not happen, and if sense gratification in Grahastha ashram is given more prominence, this will be the result. Uncontrollable senses, which will lead us to bondage, tepisha tantram urudamni baddha, and which will lead us to vishatam tamisram, hellish planets. Thank you. Please, you can continue reading, Mataji.
I'll continue, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Everyone should therefore seek the shelter of the Supreme Soul, the source of all living entities. No one should waste his time in the so-called happiness of materialistic household life. In the Vedic civilization, this type of crippled life is allowed only until one's 50th year, when one must give up family life and enter the order of Vanaprastha, independent retired life for cultivation of spiritual knowledge, or sannyas, the renounced order, in which one completely takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you so much, Paul Prabhu. Here Srila Prabhupada mentions that this kind of materialistic household life where the senses are not under control, it cripples us and does not allow us to take shelter onto Krishna. Therefore, this system is there that throughout we should be worshipping Krishna. However, at least, when the Grahastha ashram ends, that is up to 50 years of age. And here Srila Prabhupada mentions 1/50th year. That means the half century, at least 50 years of age. One's emphasis should be to tend towards Krishna. As Swayam Bhagavan Keshu Maharaj says, the first part of the life, 25 years, learning. The second part, the Grahastha part, earning. The third quartile, turning towards Krishna. If now we don't turn towards Krishna, then when? And the last part, sannyasa, returning. We may not all take sannyas, but at least that vanaprastha stage, we should turn towards Krishna. And the sooner we do, the better. If in Grahastha ashram we are able to turn to Krishna, then things will be perfect. Then it's a perfect Grahastha ashram. But whatever the situation may be, Grahastha ashram may be conducive, may not be conducive. It may be a bliss, it may be a hell. Our Guru Maharaj, gives 3 examples of the devotees in Grahastha ashram. First example he gives of Namadev, a saint from Maharashtra. His wife was very supportive in Namadev's devotional service, and she used to help him and assist him. So he would say to the Lord, "Thank you so much, my Lord. You have given me such a wonderful wife, and she is assisting me in devotional service. I remember you. She allows me and she assists me in your remembrance." And the second case was Nrsimha Mehta. His wife had passed away. His whole family literally had passed away. And Nrsimha Mehta says, "My Lord, thank you. You have saved me a lot of time by taking my family members away." And he says, "Bhale tu bhangi janjal sukhya bachsu Sri Gopal." It's good that you have taken away all this janjal, this bondage. Sukhya bachsu Sri Gopal. Now, happily, we'll just worship Sri Gopal, Krishna. And then there was Tukharam. Now, Tukharam's wife was, it is said, terrible. And he used to go to Krishna and say, "Thank you, Krishna, for giving me such a wonderful wife." And people would say, "What is so wonderful about her?" And Tukharam says, "She's so terrible. As soon as I see her, oh my Lord, I remember you." Now, we should not take this example, as a bashing of the household condition of life. The point I'm trying to make is whatever our grahastha scenario may be good, may be bad, may be favorable, may be unfavorable, but internally we should worship Krishna and give our heart to Krishna. This is called alignment of devotional service. In Grahastha Ashram, this morning's class, actually, which I posted, my Guru Maharaj's class, I was listening very early in the morning, and I posted in the group. So during the day, sometimes devotees can hear. So it is Prahlad Maharaj's prayer to Lord Nrsimhadeva. And in Grahastha Ashram, things that are very important to us is mentioned in that prayer. So Prahlad Maharaj says to the Lord, Manye dhana bhijana rupa tapah srutojas tejah prabhava bala paurusha bhakt buddhi yogam naradhanaya hi bhavanti parasya pumso bhaktya tutosha bhagavan gajayutapayam. So, especially in Grahastha Ashram, we regard these 12 things, as very attractive. So he says, Manye, I consider dhana, riches. Everyone wants to get rich, accumulate money, accumulate property. Abhijanna wants to have good wife, good children, aristocratic family. Rupa want to have personal beauty. Tapaha, austerity. Shruta, knowledge from Vedic scriptures, or material learning. Ojaha, sensory prowess. Tejaha, bodily effulgence. Prabhava, influence. We all want to be influential. Bala, we want to have great bodily strength. Paurusha, we want to have diligence, ability. Buddhi, we want to have great intelligence. Yoga, we want to have mystic power. However, Prahlad Maharaj says, Naradhanaya hi bhavanti parasya pumso. Parasya means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to the material nature. Naradhanaya. However, all these qualities, Prabhus and Matajis, are no qualification for satisfying Krishna. Krishna is not satisfied by our wealth. He's not satisfied with our riches, with our learning, with our ability to do yoga, with our austerity, our sense of knowledge. Then what is Krishna satisfied by? He is simply satisfied by our bhakti. Bhaktya tutosha bhagavan gajayutapaya. Bhaktya. It is said that simply by devotional service, tutosha, Krishna was satisfied. Bhagavan, that personality of Godhead. And the example Prahlad Maharaj gives is of Gajendra. Gaja Yutapaya, onto the king of elephants, Gajendra, who is satisfied. Now, interestingly, Gajendra is animal of the land and crocodile the animal of the water. And Gajendra entered the water and there fought a battle with the crocodile. But Gajendra's prowess diminished because his natural position was to be on the land. Similarly, our natural position is to be in devotional service to the Supreme Lord. But Gajendra found himself out of place and he surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Now, all these prayers, what are they trying to do? They're trying to impress upon us that we have to align our consciousness to Krishna. We cannot cheat Krishna. We cannot say, Krishna, you give me this and I'll worship you. That is motivated devotional service. That won't work. It may work to some extent, but ultimately, we have to be entirely attached to Krishna. And for that to happen, Gajendra's example is the best example. Gajendra in Srimad Bhagavatam says, Evam vyavasito buddhyam samadhaya manohride. Gajendra aligned the interest of his heart. Why? Because in the heart, the soul is residing. The soul is Krishna's, and the interest of the soul is to save Krishna. So he aligned samadhaya. This is called alignment. Evam vyavasito buddhya. He aligned vyavasito buddhya, his intelligence. So by deliberate intelligence, by daily bathing in the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, what are we doing? We are aligning our intelligence to our heart, where the soul resides, meaning we are taking the interest of the soul as paramount. The interest of the soul is to dedicate and surrender to Krishna. And how do we do this? Alignment of the mind, the intelligence, and the soul or the heart. Evam vyavasito buddhya samadhaya manohridhi. So the mind is the repository of all the senses. The senses are adanta gobhir, uncontrolled, going here and there, just trying to exploit whatever they can get hold of. They're running like wild monkeys. However, when we take the interest of the soul as paramount, as Prahlad Maharaj says, Matirna Krishna Parato Sustova. If we are Krishna Matir, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to bless everyone, whoever came to him and bowed down, Krishna Matir Astu, may you be Krishna conscious. So if we take Krishna consciousness as all in all, and behind every endeavor, we have Krishna consciousness as our first and the foremost priority, then that alignment is very easy. And Gajendra was able to align it. And by simple devotional service, he offered prayers to Krishna, and Krishna accepted. None of other material qualifications is needed. No, Hanumanji says in Bhagavatam, Na janmanunam, I don't have good birth. Mahato na sobhagam, I'm not great, and I don't have good fortune. Navan na buddhir, I don't have good way of speaking. I don't have intelligence. Kritis tosha hetu, I don't have good bodily features, which is satisfying. However, nonetheless, O Lord Rama, you accepted us Vanavasis, the residents of forest, as your own friend. Shakar Sakye Bata Lakshmana Krajaha, O elder brother of Lakshman, you have accepted us. So the Lord accepts us for our devotion. Bhaktya Tutosha Bhagavan Bhajayutapaya Bhakti Kevala Tushyati Nachagunair Bhakti Priya Madhava. Bhakti, devotional service is Priya to Madhava, not any other qualities, not any other guna. So while Grahastha ashram can be a great risk, Grahastha life, can be a great risk. Ashram is we surrender to Krishna. But Grahastha, we have to make sure that our Grahastha is not like Grahamedi, it's an ashrama. And therefore, 99.9% of the people are Grahastha. Therefore, these teachings are very important for us, that we, not get carried away by the illusory representation of the Grahastha ashram and take shelter onto Krishna. The last verse, 1 minute is remaining. We'll quickly look at this. Tasmad rajorag vishad manyo manaspuha bhayadainyadi moolam hitva griham samsmriti chakravalam Nrsimha padam bhajata kuto bhayam yati. Would anyone like to read the translation?
I can read, Prabhu. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Sarah Mataji, go ahead.
Therefore, O demons, give up the so-called happiness of family life and simply take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadeva. which are the actual shelter of fearlessness. Entanglement in family life is the root cause of material attachment. Indefeasible desires, moroseness, anger, despair, fear, and the desire for false prestige, all of which result in the repetition of birth and death.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So Prahlad Maharaj here is stating, the dangers of the family life, if it is not dedicated to Krishna. It will be the source of all the material attachment, indefatigable desires, moroseness. Sometimes when husband and wife fight, and and we've all been through it. We see the anger, despair, fear, the desires for false prestige. All this actually goes on, and especially when people are not devotees. What hope do they have? And ultimately, this attachment goes on till their last breath and results in repetition of birth and death. So Prahlad Maharaj very nicely therefore prays Om Namo Bhagavate Nrsimhaya Namaste Jasate Jase Avir Bhavam Vajranakha Vajradamshra Karmashayan Randhaya Tamo Grasa Om Swaham Abhayam Atmani Bhuyishtha Om Shrom. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadeva, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. In the word to word, he says, karma shayan, demoniac desires to be happy in the material activities. We cannot be happy in our material activities. Therefore, we ask Nrsimhadeva to rip apart these desires as he ripped apart the intestine of Hiranyakashipu. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. So thank you so much, Prabhuji and Matajis. We have gone a bit over time. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Thank you. So we hope to see you all this evening at Hare Krishna Temple, Burbank. The program starts, I think, at 5 o'clock. Please check, maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock. And a wonderful program has been schedule has been arranged, which includes Abhishek of Lord Nrsimhadeva, drama by children, lot of kirtans and discourse. Have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Best wishes for Narsim Chaturdasi. And let's throughout the day meditate on these bases and see how we can align our life so that we can be better devotees, and that Lord Nrsimhadeva protects our devotional saviors. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
That was the young boy.